What if you had to become the villain to give the world a chance at peace? What if winning meant losing everything? Your name, your friends, your future, just to protect one person who still mattered? What if you could see the world for what it really is, a chessboard, and everyone, even your allies, are just pieces to be moved, sacrificed, or eliminated? This isn't a story of good versus evil. It's a warning, a cautionary tale of what happens when you chase justice with fire in your veins and betrayal in your heart. Because revenge is never clean, redemption never comes easy, and the best intentions mean nothing if you fail to change anything at all. With that being said, let me introduce you to the world of Code Geass, a world where one boy throws away his identity, his morals, and maybe even his soul, all for a sister the world refused to protect, a friend the world wanted to forget, and a family the world was better off without. And to protect her, he has to reset the board, and he's willing to do anything, even if it means burning everything to the ground to do it. So, I'm Remy, and I just want to know if anyone shipped on Code Geass, and if not, let's. So to begin, we need to rewind to Sunrise Studios in the mid-2000s. Sunrise wanted a hit, but not just another Gundam anime. They wanted something that bled style and substance. They wanted more. They wanted politics wrapped in spectacles and intrigue woven into every episode, and drama so appealing, so gut-wrenching. It didn't just entertain, it unraveled you. They didn't want a show that sat safely in its lane. They wanted a show that could punch you in the face and then lean in close and whisper sweet nothings about democracy. They wanted something that asked, what is justice really? And what does peace cost? And what happens when a single boy dares to answer both questions with violence? This wasn't just about selling toys or topping ratings. It was about making you feel something dangerous. It was about questioning power, identity, and revolution, all while rooting for a protagonist who might very well be the villain. Like I said, they didn't want another hit. They wanted a legacy. And somehow, they got it. And to achieve this, they brought in the holy trinity of chaotic storytelling. For the writer, they had Ichiro Okochi. As for the director, it was Goro Taniguchi. And as for the character designer, it was designed by Clamp Studios. Ichiro wanted to write a story about a student who leads a secret resistance. Goro wanted something bold and visual, and Clamp wanted everyone to be pretty. But after some time, the pitch got refined, the white-haired Lelouch became the Dark Prince of Rebellion we know today, and somehow, this Frankenstein of a creative team stitched together something iconic. It wasn't easy. There were doubts, I'm sure tons of conflict behind the scenes, moments where I'm pretty sure this all fell apart, but somehow this crazy gamble paid off. And no better place to start when we talk about Season 1. In its totality, Season 1 hits like a truck, or more accurately, like a mech barreling through a fascist empire. We're introduced to Lelouch, an exiled prince, a high school student, and eventually a war criminal with a god complex. He gets a mysterious power from a girl named C2, a power that lets him command anyone to do whatever he says. The power of absolute obedience. And with that power, he does the most logical thing a teenager with trauma and daddy issues would do. Start a revolution, become Zero the terrorist. He builds the Black Knights, he wins, he loses, he kills, he regrets. And just when you think he's going somewhere, he loses control of his Geass, and things really hit the fan.
本当だよ。例えば、日本人を殺せって言ったら、君の意思とは関係ない。
It takes just one episode, one accidental massacre. The fall of Japan happens all over again. The show knows it can never let you feel really safe while watching it. That's how it hooks you. That's how it keeps you in. That's how it keeps you engaged. That season ends with a crazy cliffhanger, and you're left wondering what's gonna happen next. And then R2 happens. You get a new brother, new stakes, new Geass powers. Lelouch is back and the Black Knights are stronger than ever, but this time, the world is watching. Chessboard that only messed with Britannia has become global. Every move now comes with an incredible cost, but this time, it all leads somewhere. It leads to Zero Requiem, a plan with so many twists and turns it literally wouldn't make sense if it wasn't in this show. A show you're so invested in at this point that you're rooting for the guy that's literally a war criminal. Because you know what? Maybe that's what it takes to have peace. Or maybe, just maybe, by the end of this show, everything said and done, he was just tired. Tired of the game, tired of the death, tired of being Zero. But that's just my takeaway from the ending. So let's talk about what Geass actually is now. I've never seen Geass as some conventional magic trick. I've always seen it more as despair and fear that's been weaponized, as if your most desperate longing has turned into your most dangerous curse. For Lelouch, it was control, the power to right a broken world. For Mao, it was obsession, a mind devoured by constant noise of wanting. And for Charles, it was godhood, A delusion dressed up as sanity and unity. From this takeaway, I've never seen Geass as some convenient superpower handed out to move the story forward. I've always seen it more like a loaded question, a test if you would. A mirror held up to a person's soul. Either you flinch or you break at the reflection. A fire that's all-consuming and beautiful, but everyone who touches it pays a price. Some in blood, some in madness, some with the loss of their families, while others lose themselves entirely. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? You want to change the world changes you right back. It happens slowly, like a tide rising to your chest, until that person you used to be is drowning in what you've become. Geass crawls into your bones, reshaping you from your feet until your choices aren't choices anymore, they become compulsions. It gets to the point where you thought you could control this flame, but it burns through any cage a person can make, and then it rages. There's no off switch for this fire. A person isn't meant to control Geass. There's no off switch for a fire. There's no off switch for Geass after a point. And all that's left is the desperate cries of a soul that thought it could handle the cost. But the truth is, the moment you accept Geass, you start becoming the avatar of your own desire. Whatever it is, justice, love, vengeance, peace, whatever, that desire will consume you. It doesn't care who you are. It only cares what you want and what you're willing to do to get it. And Code Geass is full of characters willing to burn it all to get what they want. This show has more psychological trauma than the therapy group sponsored by Sigmund Freud. Lelouch is a genius, a liar, a tactician, a big brother, and a mass murderer. A boy playing chess with the world as his board. And seemingly every pawn is someone he loves. He lies with elegance, manipulates with purpose, and kills not for the thrill, but for the necessity of the future he may never live to see himself. He's a villain wearing the mask of a hero. Or maybe it's the other way around. Suzaku is a pacifist in a weapon called a Knightmare, a man who believes in justice so deeply, he's willing to stain his hands with blood to preserve the illusion of peace. His loyalty to a broken system turns him into the very thing he claims to fight, and that guilt eats him alive. He becomes a walking contradiction, a knight chasing forgiveness at the tip of a sword. Then we get to C2. She's an immortal, she's depressed, she's sardonic to a fault, but how could she not be when you watch everyone you love turn to dust over and over and over? The only thing a person can do in that situation is build walls. High, cold, sarcastic, unfeeling walls. But as you get to know her, behind that smirk, sarcastic attitude, and that weird pizza obsession, she's tired. She's tired of surviving, she's tired of being alone, and yet forces herself to dare to hope again because some prince said, I can do things better. And she tries one more time. And then we get to Colin it. She's caught between rebellion and reality. Half Britannian by blood, Japanese by choice. Her identity is a battlefield, but she fights anyway. As one of Zero's first swords and fiercest Black Knight, not just with a mech but with conviction, she doesn't just want glory, she wants freedom. And maybe, just maybe, she wants the truth from Zero, even if it hurts. And then there's Nunnally, the actual soul of the show. So kind, it borders on supernatural. A heart so untouched by the rot of the world around her, it makes no sense. And that kindness, honestly, I think it terrifies Lelouch more than any enemy ever could. Because to protect her, he's willing to go through hell, lose everything, his body, his soul, his name. If it cost him his legs, he would crawl on his hands. If he lost his hands, he would bite his way to protect her. He would do whatever it takes to give her a world that didn't strip her of her dignity, that didn't abandon her like her father did, like everyone else did. While she may not be able to see, she's not blind to this either, and that part comes into play later on in the series, and it's tragic when it does. These aren't our only major players in the story of Code Geass. You have characters like Cornelia, Jeremiah, and other big players that all get their own moments that make you cry, scream, and cheer, sometimes both, because Code Geass doesn't care about you feeling safe with safe storytelling. It doesn't hold your hand, it holds a knife to your expectations, carves something raw out of them, because it needs to show you that this show doesn't just work because it's smart, but because it makes you feel smart and emotionally reckless. It takes big swings, political, morality, and psychological, because in Code Geass, if you haven't noticed, nobody walks away clean. Not the heroes, not the villains, not even you the viewer. And that's why it sticks, that's why it resonates, that's why we've cared about it for so long, because we're all different after watching it. Okay, wow, that was a lot, right? Like a lot. had to dig a little bit deep in the writer bag for that one. Not bad for a guy with an art degree, huh? But let me digress real fast. That whole section, yeah, that was just me straight up gassing up the show. Because if you couldn't tell, I really like this anime, like a lot. And if I was gonna talk about it, I feel like I had to do it justice. Dramatic, over the top, zero chills level of justice. Because for a lot of people around my age, this show was like groundbreaking. And if I'm gonna be honest, let's be real fast, I know at least one of y'all definitely tried to act like Lelouch after you saw this anime. Let's not even front. We all tried it. We all tried to do the Naruto run. So I'm saying one person who's seen this video has definitely been that kid who said, I got the power of God and anime on my side. I'm just saying.
Don't fuck with me! I have the power of God and anime on my side!
Wait,
you don't have to admit it was you, but if it was, you know, it's cool. There's no judgment. Okay, that's not true. I might be judging people, but you get what I'm saying. Every person in existence has done something cringy. It may not be anime related, but I digress. Everyone's done something cringy. I'm pretty sure if you looked at your younger self now doing what he did with a tech deck or that stupid S symbol or whatever, you'd be like, dang, this dude weird. And I'm not saying maybe you did the whole obey me or you did the whole finger point like Lelouch, but I'm just saying a part of you has probably done something cringy for that, right? And so I felt like I owed it to my younger self to lean into the drama a little bit more, be a little bit more grandiose with that intro, give it the kind of heavy poetic thing I would have loved as a teenager because Darker Than Black was cool and so was Psycho-Pass. You know, that kind of vibe. I used to eat that up back in high school. So this little intro for me would have probably been like, oh, I'm cooking. I'm cooking right here. So that was for me. That was for younger high school me right there. He would have enjoyed the mess out of this. But now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to be regular old corny jokes guy again. So if you made it this far, first off, thank you. I appreciate you for watching. And I promise, I definitely won't make any jokes about using the Geass to make you like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so you know you're up to date on all the videos. I definitely would never do a joke like that. But you know, I wouldn't. But you know, since you're here, yeah, you know what I'm saying? You might as well. I'm just saying. Anyway, back to the lore now. Robot time, baby. So, hi, how's it going? A little about me. I like mechs. Done a couple of mech videos already if you haven't seen them. Do yourself a favor, go peep game real fast and come back. But now, when it comes to Code Geass, these mechs, the Knightmare Frames, they're some of the most unique designs I've ever seen. And yes, if you haven't noticed, Knightmare is actually a play on the words knight and a knight's mare, like the horse, which honestly makes sense, because if I saw one of those things in real life, yeah, that's a nightmare. I'm just, you know what, you got it, bro. I'm dying. I'm not fighting you. You got it. Really sleek designs. Originally, like most mech animes, they start off relatively grounded, bulky, rigid / industrial. They felt like walking tanks, but then things start to escalate because desperation breeds innovation. And the next thing you know, there's hover system, radiation fist, space-time distortion nonsense, and a nuclear bomb from a girl who enjoys the company of a desk a little bit too much. And by the end of the show, technology in that world has advanced at such a staggering rate that machines are defying physics logically and probably a few international laws, and it gets to the point where the nightmares stop feeling like machines and honestly just start looking like monsters with armor, like some kind of walking metaphors. They're not just weapons, they're manifestations. The Gurren, rage and raw emotion. Lancelot, it's guilt in a gilded cage. The Shinkiro, black, cold, calculated control made real. Each mech is a reflection of its pilot. Every fight is a conversation without words. Because yeah, don't get me wrong, the fights are gas, animation, choreography, high-speed chess with explosions. You gotta love it. But then, what makes it hit harder than just all that metal on metal action? Well, in my opinion, it's gotta be what leads up to that fight. In a lot of shonen, the best fights aren't about punches and kicks. It's about everything that leads up to it. And don't get me wrong, sometimes a good fight is just a good fight. But what makes a better fight is the context behind it. Every choice, every lie, every betrayal feels like every punch is something that led up from one of those moments. And sometimes, in rare cases, it's not even about winning the actual fight. For example, you take Naruto in its final fight. Honestly, bro, they just had to talk it out, but at that point, they know they couldn't, so they threw hands to express themselves. Granted, was that the best thing to do, obviously, after you just fought a whole ninja war and ninja space alien god mom lady? Probably not. But you know what? At the end of the day, I gotta hand it to them. They got the job done. Okay, that's in poor taste. Whatever. And they got the job done. Sasuke chilled out and joined the village or whatever. Because sometimes the only thing that people understand when you can't say it out loud is a universal language of throwing hands. The best example of that in Code Geass would be Lelouch versus Suzaku. Two childhood friends, two idealists walking the opposite paths, and using two giant nightmare frames that are literally the most broken thing ever. Have you seen how those things move? They're stupid. But Them using those machines to get their ideals across without even saying anything is very telling within itself. Because at the end, every mech punch is loaded with an emotion. Every blow says something that they couldn't, and that what makes Code Geass feel a little bit different. For a show that likes to talk so much, there are moments like these in certain fights where they say so little, but also a lot too. It's weird. It's a contradiction. It's infuriating at some point, and it's beautiful at the same time. And maybe that's why we like it. Maybe that's why I like it. Maybe that's why it's more than just cool mechs. It's more than just cool mech fights and new power-ups and blase, blase, blase. It's the meaning behind the fights, the story behind the steel. But then again, sometimes maybe it's just cool. And you know what? That's fine also. Okay, so I've talked enough about the mainline story stuff. Time to get into some side quests and some merch. I gotta chill out and make some dumb merch jokes now. So I'm gonna do that. Thank you for getting this far once again. Merch time. So Code Geass has a lot of extra activity side quest material. I don't know why I phrased it like that, but I did. They have spin-off manga. It's there. It's got a decent amount of manga-only content if you want more. Will I talk about how good this content is? No, because I don't like it. But wait, if manga's not for you, don't fret, because there's also more anime. You better believe something as popular as Code Geass got more anime in the tuck. Will I talk about how good this content is? No, because I do not like it. Video games, they also exist from mobile games, DS games, so on and so forth. Well, I talk about how good, you know what, you get the pattern I'm doing here. They don't really do good spin-off for this IP. It doesn't stop at this kind of stuff. They also bleed into the movies. I don't think the movies are really good. For example, you have the trilogy, a recap film that retold the series, and I don't like the adjustments they made. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Certain characters lived that didn't make it in the OG story, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Events were shifted, and what's even worse, eventually we got a movie about Lelouch's resurrection, and this movie dropped in 2019, and I gotta say, I am not the biggest fan of it. I had questions. Is this canon? My answer is maybe. Is this necessary? My answer, once again, is also maybe. Is it even good? Maybe. At the end of the day, it's more Lelouch, more strategies, more new nightmares, more angst. And if that's what you want, it delivers. If you like the OG ending of the original anime, pretend this doesn't exist. That's what I do. But if you don't like it and you want something more, this movie does not hurt your experience overall, but I personally don't think it helps it. So at the end of the day, here's what we're left with. A show that didn't need more got more anyway. Characters that were supposed to die didn't stay dead. A franchise that should have ended cleanly evolved into a what-if machine. While that's not ideal, it's still cool that Code Geass as a whole is continuing to some extent. And following up on that, in 2024, we even got more Code Geass anime. Yay! Oh, hooray! There's more. This time it's called Code Geass: The Rose of Recapture. So, like, it's a new entry into the Code Geass multiverse, extended universe thingamabob they got going on. So, you know, we get more mechs, more plots, more plans. You know, they got more, and let's be honest, who doesn't want more Code Geass? Question mark, question mark, question mark. And as much as I love this franchise, I kind of tired of the whole Lelouch lives, Lelouch dies, rinse and repeat. Oh, here's a whole new entry, but all of a sudden, here's Lelouch again. He's definitely not real, but he's also real, but it's definitely not a clone or something weird like that this time. It's Lelouch. Oh, it's not. I lied. It's not Lelouch at all. Yeah, we baited you because we all know you just want more Lelouch, and we do that every time. Anyway. But, you know, maybe one of these days, I think they'll get one of the animes right. Honestly, just do a whole new anime from someone else's perspective. Maybe Suzaku as the lead. We can see more of what he did in the background or something. I don't know. Just, if you're gonna keep bleeding Lelouch, at least do it from a different perspective. I don't know, man. It's just, y'all been milking Lelouch's death for almost 20 years. Let that man rest in his grave. I am begging you, please. He can only give you so much. Please. He's not Goku. Let this man sleep, please. And there it is. We've officially reached the end. And I just want to say thank you for watching this video if you got this far. Really, you're a real one. And I'm so appreciative of anyone who got this far. I'd like to say thank you a lot because, like, I'm glad people like to hear me, you know, be all erratic about things I'm passionate about. And it's cool that I have this platform now to do that. So I just want to take this chance to once again say thank you for watching. It really means a lot, even if I don't say it all the time. I think I do, but if I don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's implied. You guys rock, and I'm really proud of this community that we built. So yeah, whether you're here for deep dives, my drama takes, or maybe just bad, dumb jokes from me, Thank you, and you're a real one. And I hope I did this justice, because Code Geass isn't just cool. It's not just about giant robots or revenge or convoluted chess games where everybody forgets the rules. It's about choices and the weight behind them. It's about people throwing hands when words just don't cut anymore. It's about rage, guilt, control, and turning those feelings into 10-ton walking symbolism. And honestly, in its own unique way, that's kind of beautiful. So if this video sparked something in you, if it made you remember that one time you tried to use Geass on your friends or your siblings, or it made you appreciate how hard mech shows can go when they have something real to say, do yourself a solid and hit that button. Subscribe and all that other fun stuff, guys. We got more in the pipeline. Eventually, there will be a Shinzo video. I'm not just baiting you. I'm gonna do it sometime. Someday. There will be a Shinzo video. Someday there will be a Shinzo video. So anyway, I'm Remy. Thanks for letting me yap about something I've really liked this long. Even if it's about a guy with a god complex and a family that needs the world's greatest therapist, I'm still glad y'all were here to hear me talk about it. So I will see y'all in the next one. Later. You know what? Also, I forgot to mention this in the original video. This is me freeballing real fast. Bro, the theme song for Jaboo, oh, banger, 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 bro. I've been saying Jaboo, whoa, the entire week I've been watching and reviewing Code Geass for the script, bro. I'll be randomly talking in the middle of the day, just kind of doing whatever, then saying Jaboo, whoa, for no reason. And it's, bro, that theme song is so good. Okay, okay, that's it. Bye.